Yo, so I was you know what I mean, like over here at the I was hanging out today, right, over in my server or whatever. You know what I mean? Actually I was hanging out today and I got to spend some time with my children and shit. You know what I mean? I was doing my motherfucking thing and whatnot, right? And in doing my shit, right, I was man, listen, I swear to God, like I swear, like yo, this shit is ridiculous with these stupid ass fucking things. Anyway, I was hanging out with my kids today. You know what I mean? Fucking like I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? Because like yo, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, just how it works sometimes. Or I went to bed early. You know what I mean? Because I was exhausted from yesterday, from you know what I mean, having to drive around, do all types of crazy shit. You know what I mean? Do all the whatever. And I was sitting here doom scrolling my phone when I woke up at 4:30 in the morning because nobody else was awake. And as I'm doom scrolling through my phone, I found this article that said that all the protests that are happening outside of Tesla, like fucking dealerships, like throughout like the country or whatever. This person went to like four or five of them, and they said that everybody who was there all had white hair and were over the age of 65. I think the day of the pillow may be upon us, right? Like just keeping it all the way 100 with y'all. I think the day of the pillow may be coming very soon because these boomers are getting the fuck out of control. I got a bunch of like shit that we're gonna go over today. I got some videos and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just as in general stuff, you know what I mean? To give us some catharsis about like our situation of where we are right now. So let's start off with this Tim Dillon video about like what's going on with the boomers. This is from about a year ago. A bunch of stuff's from about a year ago. Let's get rocking.
And a lot of the boomers now are flying, like the boomers are flying in large numbers now. And the boomers are flying to go visit and torture and torment their children. This is why boomers are traveling all over the country, is to go to where their children have been forced to live and laugh at them. This is what boomers like to do. They go, that you pay this for that? That's the whole point. Anytime a boomer gets in a plane, it is so that the plane can land and they can go to their children's house and go, oh my God, this is what you're living in? This is how you live? The reason for that is because boomers refuse to sell their houses. Boomers are 85 years old, riddled with 4 cancers, and will not sell their house unless they make $900,000. They have impoverished an entire generation of people that cannot get into the real estate market because boomers themselves refuse to leave. There's all kinds of articles about this now, and it's hilarious. Boomers will not relinquish their hold on suburban real estate in America. They won't. They won't do it. If they took a little less money, for example, for their house, if the boomers went, you know what? I'll take a little less money for this house, and I'll just put it back on the market so that someone else could have a shot. But boomers are sitting there. They've got 17 pills they take every day just to stay alive. And they pick up the phone, and the real estate agent goes, maybe we could do this. We can get you this. And they go, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You will never get this house for under 1.9. They refuse to leave because it's their biggest coup d'etat. The boomer having a McMansion in a place like Long Island is the thing that they have that allows them to, they're the lord of the manor, and they can impress upon their children what failures they are because they don't live in the style that the boomers live in.
Yo, he's not wrong, bro. Like all of us like have been dealing with like our boomer parents doing like boomer shit constantly. Right? Like our boomer parents have been over here just going, listen, I'm going to, I worked hard and I fucking blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yo, bitch, like, listen, when you started working, like, 50% of the fucking country worked in a union. Like, yo, you had people fighting to raise wages across the goddamn board, right? You were the only, like, America was the only manufacturer of scale in the world. We produced steel, iron, cars, fucking, like, yo, TVs, VCRs. Well, at that time, probably like Betamax or whatever, right? 8 tracks. Like, you had the world by the ass on a downhill pool, and the rest of us are standing here going like, bruh, listen, can we possibly get into, like, the market? Like, can some of us, like, by chance, you know what I mean, have an opportunity? No? Like, yo, you wanted to climb the ladder and get to, like, the fucking roof and then kick the fucking ladder out from underneath to the rest of us? That's where the fuck we're at right now? And then when we go, like, listen, we don't want to really be your slaves. You know what I mean? Can we, like, not be your slaves? No. We prayed into this system. You are going to continue to pay for us forever. It's your responsibility. This is a social contract. How dare you? Right? This is where we fucking been. You know what I'm saying? This is where the fuck we've been.
Now, the boomers, of course, will leave out all the advantages they had to get said house, but they will not relinquish that because that is the thing that they have. You know, this is the thing that they have. This is the way that they judge. There was an article, why boomers will not move into more size-appropriate homes, which I love, because boomers are, you know, if anything, they are selfish. They like themselves, which makes them funny. That's what makes them really, really funny. And the reason that they won't leave these houses is because they cannot imagine trying to live in a more simple way, even in like.
I mean, like, here's really what it is, right? So, like, as a parent, right, what you want to be doing is working yourself out of a job, right? That's literally like what you want to do as a parent. Like, you want to be able to get your kids to the point where they can take over for you. And, like, I get the mentality of, you know, being like, oh, man, listen, I've been in control this long. I want to stay in control. Because, like, the boomers, you know, they've had life so good forever that they could fuck up and do whatever they wanted and make tons of mistakes and be able to continue forward. That's how you know, like, the boomers have had it really, really easy. Because any of us we get caught shoplifting, right, at 18, like, and we're fucked the rest of our entire lives. Like, you might as well just hang it the fuck up, you know what I mean, and go be homeless at that point, right? Because that's just how the hell shit operates. So, these boomers, they don't understand that it wasn't the fact that, like, they were good. It was the fact that life was good and the world was good to them. It's like the fucking, like, Americans who think that, like, America was blessed. No. No. Right? Like, our form of government is superior to everybody else's. No. Not true. What it is that, like, you have, like, the greatest geography in the world. And I'm an American, right? I'm misunderstood, right? I mean, that is literally my fucking empirical status as American. Right? But, like, this country is amazing. It's like OP when it comes to geography. And you put in a form of government that is the most unnatural thing ever, where it's like you get the profit off of whatever it is that you can extract off the fucking land without regard to thinking about what's going on with, like, your grandkids. Ever. Right? And this is the mentality that we have had for about 200 years. Why we've extracted everything out of this bitch that we possibly could have. And every time you try to go, hey, listen, maybe we should, like, you know, leave some forest so, like, other motherfuckers can see how pretty this place is too. No, we have to drill, baby, drill. Right? And there's not even, like, a leftist point, bro. Like, it's not. It's really not.
The twilight of their days. In the twilight of their days, they need more space. And then their millennial children can't afford any of this. So they're on planes now, complaining about everything, waiting for the plane to land. So their first stop is going to go to their children's house and then go, oh my God, it's so small here. It's very small. I mean, I feel so bad for your you know, when we were coming, I mean, we worked harder than you guys, of course. And we had a lot more to deal with. But, you know, at least you got something for your money. You got a little something. It's like, you're the reason. You are the reason. We have the oldest Congress in American history. These people will not retire. Boomers hold on for dear life to everything. To everything. They are...
Yeah, as I said, like, your job is to work yourself out of a job, right? As a parent. You want your kid to be able to take over and run the family. I was thinking about this analogy here recently, right? And I'm probably going to write something about this. The Anglos are playing poker while everybody else is playing spades. Right? Like, everybody else in the world is playing spades. You know, I mean, they got, like, family, got a partner. They got motherfuckers working together, right? The Anglos are playing poker. It's a one-man game. And that's all. It's a one-man. What can I get for mine? That's the mentality. They'll sell the fucking house to play the game. That's where we are right now. You know what I mean? And like, it cannot be that way when you have a society. When you have like a fucking community. When you have a people. You cannot be that fucking selfish. Like, you just can't.
Falling down in the halls of Congress, they will not leave. They will not quit. This is why the world looks the way it does. It's being run exclusively by like elderly boomers who will not leave. They are afraid of not running the show. You know, they will not. Yeah. According to a recent Merrill Lynch retirement study of more than 3,600 respondents, 49% of retirees didn't downsize in their last move, and 30% actually ended up moving into larger homes. This is how sick some of these people are. They go, I'm 100 and I want more. I want a bigger home. I want a bigger home to show my kids what losers they really are. That's really what it comes down to. I want a mansion now to show my kids how much better I've done than them. They will not let go. They will not let go. Diane, what's her name? Feinstein died in office. She was a corpse for years. Died in office. Our president, he will not step aside. He won't step aside. It's kind of a common thing to the whole boomer thing is just hold on to it. Hold on for dear life. But I see them, you know, when you get on a plane, obviously there's people of all ages, but you'll just kind of key in on the boomers and they're just kind of, it's very judgmental. And, you know, they're in like economy plus. You know, they paid just a little bit more. They've paid just a little bit more so they can harass the flight attendant a standard deviation more than the people in the back. They have a little bit of status, and maybe some of them are in first, who knows? But they're all just traveling to some city where their children live, and they can go and judge them for how they live.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, yo, he's spot on, bro. Like, boomers, that's another thing too, right? Like, boomers have no, like, conception of their class, right? They have lived their entire lives in massive amounts of fucking debt, right? I mean, but it's cool, though, because they earn plenty of fucking cash. I mean, they bought their first house, like, 16% interest, but, like, it cost them a blue number 2 from Uno, $10, and, like, a fucking chicken wing, right? Like, oh, it was 16% interest. Yeah, but you paid, like, $8,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, like, I have a fucking truck with fucking, like, 18% interest, and it was $24,000. Like, listen, like, I literally paid more for my vehicle than my grandmother paid for, like, her entire goddamn fucking house and, like, 1.5 acres of fucking ground. And let's keep it 100% honest here, right? I'm not earning that much more, right? Actually, like, I'm probably earning less than my grandfather did when you adjust for fucking inflation. Let's be honest.
And they never make the connection that, oh, none of us have put our homes back on the market. None of us have, God forbid, taken a little bit less and simplified our lives. so that we're effectively locking out. Because, by the way, guess who loves the BlackRock and everybody giving everybody crazy money? The boomers. They go, yeah, you give me that $2 million. They love it. They love it. They'll tell you. One of the favorite pastimes of anyone over a certain age, they'll tell you what they can get for their house. Immediately. You don't even ask. You do not even, and they do it on holidays, like on Christmas and stuff. They know why they're doing it, too. They know exactly why they're doing it.
I'll be honest, I don't even talk to like fucking motherfuckers, bro. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, and this is one of the reasons why. Like, my grandmother was in the hospital here recently. And so, like, I went to go see grandma, and my mom and my sister was there. Me and my sister hanging out, talking to grandma, you know what I mean? Just like, hey, man, listen, da-da-da. And my mom comes in, and I ain't seen my mom in like 15 years, whatever, right? And my mom, she immediately starts like bickering back and forth with my grandmother, right? And my grandma was laying in a fucking hospital bed dying, right? And so, like, I go over to grandma, you know what I mean? Between them bickering, I go, Grandma, man, listen, you eat anything good recently? And grandma's like, oh my God, Tommy, let me tell you about this chicken Alfredo I had. It was so good. I got it from Carnes. It was amazing. It was like fresh made. And like, her eyes lit up and she was so happy to tell me, right? This is where, you know what I mean? Like, yo, listen, I understand. Like, the people don't understand their roles. Like, they don't get it, right? Like, your purpose in life isn't, you know what I mean, to like be about self. Right? It's to be about others in your family. Like, it's some basic stuff. And the boomers just absolutely just no idea. They have no clue about this. They're lost.
Immediately they go, yeah. They go, you want to hear something crazy? And you're like, okay. And usually when someone says that, you want to hear something crazy, you would think they're going to tell you something crazy. Like some crazy story they heard. When a boomer says you want to hear something crazy, they just want to tell you the exact amount of money they have. That's exact. They go, no, come here, listen to this. I bought this for $200,000. You know what they tell me I can get now? 1.8. Isn't that something? But guess what? I ain't leaving for under 2.
All right, yo, listen. And then I want to get into like boomers, you know what I'm saying, as parents, right? As grandparents. This is a video from like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? It's some like TikTok stuff, but I'll be honest with you. Okay. This is really good. Okay. This is fucking amazing. Yo, watch this.
A boomer and now has children. Please answer me this. I don't know about y'all, but I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, my aunt's house, whatever, so that my parents could go out. They'd dump us off at grandma's and go to Vegas for the weekend. But now that I have children, it's like pulling teeth just to get them to watch their own grandchildren for 2 hours so I can run some errands. Night out? What's a night out? Because I don't get that.
Listen, if you're a millennial parent, right? Unless you're an immigrant, this is the vibe, right? I'll be honest, my mom has never met my children. She met the first 3, and after that, I was like, no. Right? And then after that, it just, you know what I mean, like straight up, just no. Just as a whole, no. Right? From both sides. She has never asked to meet her grandkids, right? She has, like, I had 3 boys, right, first. And now I have, you know what I'm saying, like, 3 girls and stepdaughter, right, who's basically my baby, right? You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean, 2 more sons. She has never met any of them. And they are almost 10 years old now. They have never met their grandmother. There is no chance, you know what I'm saying, that any of these people as a whole, right, can, like, ever, you know what I mean, like, fucking sit here and meet their fucking grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. But by the way, what up, Cappy? Yeah, listen, I'm doing a live stream. Yeah, I'm doing that stream about the boomers, son, legit. Right? Like, yo, the day of the pillow cometh. You know what I'm saying? The day of the pillow, dog. Ever heard of the meme of the day of the pillow? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Day of the pillow, bro. Like where you pillow out the fucking boomers. You know what I mean? It's like the day of the rope. Yeah, it's like a day of the rope. Yeah. Oh, my kids have never met their grandmother. Right. Well, I mean, yeah, teenagers, you know what I mean, are a pain in the ass to deal with. My stepdaughter, right, is she's about to go into fourth grade next year. And I'll be honest with you, fourth graders are the worst human beings who have ever lived in the history of mankind. Right? Right? They're just awful people. Right? Fourth graders are horrible people. Like they're horrible. Right? Fucking mouth. Listen, fourth grade. No, 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 no. It's fourth grade. It's fourth grade. Fourth grade's terrible. So I said, listen, she's in second grade. She's soon to be in fourth grade. Fourth grade's terrible. Like all 10-year-olds are horrible people. Right? And you want to hop in the stream? I shared this screen. Or I shared this window over in Discord, and you know, what I mean, you can listen to this with me. I'll start it over. I was only like 30 seconds into this video. In particular. Got it? All right, man. Check this out.
Anyone that was raised by a boomer and now has children, please answer me this. I don't know about y'all, but I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, my aunt's house, whatever, so that my parents could go out. They'd dump us off at grandma's and go to Vegas for the weekend. But now that I have children, it's like pulling teeth just to get them to watch their own grandchildren for 2 hours so I can run some errands. Night out? What's a night out? Because I don't get that. A weekend away? Get real. You know, and then you bring this shit up to them and they're like, oh, I've done my duty. I've done.
You know how many times I've heard this? Listen. Listen. I tell my pops, I'm like, listen, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you have never taken your grandchildren out fishing or hiking or hunting, right? You know what I mean? Like, yo, you've never spent any time with your grandkids, right? And my dad goes, I did my time as a parent, son. I did what I was supposed to do. As if, like, right? Like, and the thing is my kids aren't terrible children. I mean, my oldest was, he was horrible, right? But like, the rest of them are sweet. You know what I mean? They're nice. Like, even my younger two older, boys and shit, right? The fucking 21-year-old and the fucking 16-year-old, right? 17. 17. He'll be 17 in April next month, or this month, right? Swear to God, right? This motherfucker, nicest, most amazing, never cried his entire life. I never heard him cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, even as a baby, he didn't cry. It was weird. Like, he just never cried. He was the nicest fucking human who has ever lived. Just sweet. You know what I mean? And my girls, they're girls. So they're, you know what I mean? Like, the sweetest women ever. You know what I mean? Right? They're just super nice people. Like, they're not fucking mean. They're not raw. They're not, you know what I mean, like, fucking shit up or throwing things. You know what I mean? They're just kind of hanging out, spending time. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, I sat here this morning and I made, well, yesterday morning, I guess at this point it's after midnight, but like, Sunday morning, I was up, you know what I mean? I made fucking pancakes and bacon and shit. I made Minnie Mouse pancakes with little fucking strawberry fucking bow ties and shit, right? You know what I mean? And I fucking, like, they sat there, you know what I mean? And like hung out with grandpa and made earrings, right? But like, there's no way that like he would just watch them. You know what I'm saying? Like, ever. He would never just take them. But he'll do shit like, when I'm here. Like, it's the craziest thing. You know what I mean? Let's, fuck all that shit.
My duty.
And no, he didn't. Like, no, the fuck he didn't, bro. Like, yo, like, listen, he didn't live with me when I was a kid. Who, Pops? But not slapbox, though. Like, actual, like, brawl. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. He'd come over to the house, like, drunk and coked out of his mind. And I was like, fucking, like, 11, 12 years old. He just, like, hey, come on, man, let's go. Let's go out in the yard, go play. Right? 3 a.m., I'm out back slapboxing with Pops and shit. Wants to, hang out. Right? Yeah. That's Pops, though. Mountain, what up, man? Listen, we're talking about boomers. Yo, I'm doing a stream, so you wanna hop? You wanna hop in the motherfucking in the share? Listen, we'll start this video over again, right? We're about 40 seconds in. I apologize to the people watching, but like, listen, I want Mountain to be caught up. You in Mountain? Are you in? Okay, that's cool. Listen, ain't like we're live or nothing. You know what I mean? Because we are. All right, buddy, I'm gonna hit play.
Anyone that was raised by a boomer and now has children, please answer me this. I don't know about y'all, but I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, my aunt's house, whatever, so that my parents could go out. They'd dump us off at grandma's and go to Vegas for the weekend. But now that I have children, it's like pulling teeth just to get them to watch their own grandchildren for 2 hours so I can run some errands. Night out? What's a night out? Because I don't get that. A weekend away? Get real. And then you bring this shit up to them and they're like, oh, I've done my duty. I've done my duty. You chose this life. So did you.
Yo, Mountain. Mountain. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, we walked up a hill both ways. There was no downhill. Yo, listen. Yo, not like, bro, like, all right, so I saw an article this morning, which is why we're doing this live stream. Those Tesla fucking protests that are going on. Yeah, right? I was gonna read it on stream, but like I got paywall, fucking retards. Right. But basically, the premise was is that like all the people who are doing these protests are all over 65 years old. I feel like what up? Oh no, 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 no. This is literally just boomers like being boomers and being upset because like their way of life is being disrupted. Because they have been on the tit. Hmm? Some of it is staged. Of course, that's normal with anything, right? But like, let's keep this 100% honest here. This is what boomers do. I don't know if you remember, like Black Lives Matter. Like half the people in the front were literally fucking boomers. Like every time there's an anti-Trump thing, it's always some gray fucking or like purple-haired broad with crow's feet and a fucking turkey neck. To them, right? Like, how do you act? Oh yeah, like listen, bro. Like I have been. I sprayed myself. I just got the shower here a minute ago. Fucking like yo, I have been out at like fucking parks and like there'll be like a fucking Jewish family, right? And like the dude will be, I mean, all like three-piece suited out or some shit or like shirt and tied up while he's I mean, like fucking playing with the kids at the playground and shit, right? I mean, like Jews aren't known for smelling bad. They're clean people. Yeah, but they're all really clean. Like literally, like before you go into temple, like outside of temples, that's how they know. Like when they started following the Torah, is because outside of the temples that they had, they started putting in literal like pools where you bathe before you go in. That's part of like their thing, right? That whole like baptized thing that literally comes from like the Jewish people like cleansing themselves before they went into the temple so they didn't smell bad in there. Yep. Yeah, Cap. You know how like we talk shit about like the Germans, like when we're doing our Italian thing or whatever. When I'm doing my Italian thing, right? Like quite literally, bro. Like we found y'all like literally sleeping next to your pigs and cows and shit. Mm. Oh, they were huge. Yo, they were huge. Yo, it's not just yo. All right, you can have a large population of people who are filthy. Look at the Indians. Yeah, yeah. At that time, they don't. Oh yeah, because the British literally like stole like a portion of their food, and which like just tilted the shit where everybody just started starving. You know what I mean? That's why they drop like flies. Yeah, again, literally the British stole their food. So like, all right, when you have a lack of food, you get sick. Right? That's how the slaves died after the fucking Civil War. Yeah. Well, we were playing this game about like a year ago. Fucking Prefix was playing this game where like he was trying to find a place that didn't have trash in India. We never did. We never won the game. Yeah, listen, India's filthy. It's not like Asia, right? You know what I mean? Like actual Asia. We may play this game later. You know what I mean? But okay, listen, we're gonna keep. Mm. All right. We'll check it out here in a minute. Fucking yo, listen, we're gonna keep going with these couple of videos because I wanted to finish up on the boomers. Right, I got another video after this, and then we're gonna talk about the lead poisoning with the fucking boomers. Nah, their boomers are all dead, right? Because they didn't live that long. If they have one, they're basically bug people. Let's keep going.
You. And you had help. Where's my fucking village? Why is it like this? Like, I cannot be the only one. Somebody please tell me that I'm not alone in this. Anyone that was raised by a boomer and now has children, please.
No, You're not alone. You're far from alone. My children are 3 of 16 grandchildren that my parents don't spend time with. My boys are the only 3 grandkids that live in the same city. And even when my ex-husband went to rehab and I was starting a brand new job with 3 kids, one of them was a baby, I couldn't get them to help me. My ex-husband was very abusive. He was a drug addict, and put us through a lot for 10 years. And my parents did what they could to help me. But, I mean, babysit? Nah. It's okay. My kids are better off. It's been 6 months since I've talked to my parents, and they have made no attempt at talking to my children except to say, "Why isn't she talking to us?" Ah.
Now that I have children.
Yo, listen. My mom, right, when I was married, you know what I mean, I had a house, all that type of shit, whatever, right? This is probably back in like the late 2000s. My mom would come and pick up my oldest son and leave my youngest one. And I had to explain to my 4-year-old why his grandmother didn't love him. Right? This is how boomers fucking act towards their fucking grandkids and shit. Like real shit.
It's like pulling teeth just to get them to watch their.
I think the real reason that baby boomers are starting to treat grandchildren like novelty items is because that's what they are. They're rare now. Millennials aren't popping out as many kids as baby boomers did. My grandparents' house had 15 cousins, 15 grandchildren running around for 20 years. Half of those cousins have one. One of them has 3. That's it. Out of all of us. I mean, how many millennials even live within babysitting distance anymore? A lot of us ran away. I think the baby boomer grandparents that have 5, 10 grandchildren running around them all the time are great grandparents. I think the ones that have 1, 2, maybe 3 that they see sporadically every once in a while, they just adapted. And it's not the same as it was. I don't know if this is true, but I also think we're more responsible parents than baby boomers were. I think it was much more acceptable back then to go, "Hey, can you watch the kids? I'm going out for a 3-day bender." Meanwhile, we're teaching mindfulness. Like, what the fuck?
Yo, listen. When I was a kid, my grandparents had 14 kids on one side, 5 on the other, right? And out of the 14 kids, there was like fucking 50 of us grandkids. Right, we'd all run around, and everybody go to grandma's house all the time. You know what I mean? Because I can understand when you have 50 grandkids, grandpa and grandma can't make the rounds, especially considering the fact they're elderly. Completely get that, right? 100%. But still, I have pictures of my grandparents, like right in this fucking photo album beside me right now, right, of my grandparents at my fucking house, hanging out with me when I was a fucking baby, right? And then on my other side, my grandmother, she had 2 grandkids. 2 of us, right? And my mom did drop us off there on a regular basis and shit. My mom has 8 and 2, fucking 10 grandkids, right? 8 with me, 2 with my sister. And, you know what I mean? Like, literally, no. You know what I'm saying? Fucking no. You don't see her fucking grandkids at the fuck all. I'm gonna chime in. Okay, that's boomers. They're boomers. They're early boomers. 45 to 65, son. Yeah, you're mountain German people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tend to take care of each other. Yeah, that don't happen in my fucking family. Mountain? Yeah, all right. The English have this issue. Well, of course, the Asians, you know what I mean? Like, the Asians are very communistic and socialistic with their ways, right? You know what I mean? So they take care of each other. The Africans are fine. South Americans are cool. Mexicans, super cool. Most of Europe, straight. It's just Britain and America for the most part. Probably Canada. Um, well, I mean, no, no. When this was no, 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 no. America and Britain are the only places that went whole hog on cars. Everywhere else has public transport. No, no. Okay, so we are the only place that went the whole way on cars, right? That didn't do any public infrastructure. Okay. No, 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 no. All right. So you don't actually have to go with trucks because, like, trucks don't really matter because there's like not as many, anywhere near as many of them, right? Like, I think altogether there's like 12 million truckers, right, in the United States right now. It's like 12 million trucks running at the moment, right? Whereas there's like fucking yeah, yes, right. So fucking even in the 1970s, there were nowhere near as many trucks running as there are today, right? There's just way more trucks running today than there ever been. But cars are a different animal, right? Like cars in America, due to the fact that, like, again, the rest of the world's manufacturing base was exploded when the lead thing was happening. You know what I mean? I think Japan might have the same issue. America just had way more, right? Like literally, like we at the, but yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. All right, let's. Well, I mean, yeah, but Italy also, you know what I mean, is a very like car-based culture, right? When it comes to like fucking going like to other places, like literally like a Fiat, like the Fiat 500, like America or Italy has a ton of car companies, right? They got like Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Pagani, Bugatti, fucking um, Lancia, fucking. There's like a ton of fucking Italian car companies, right? You compare that with there's only like two other places that have that many. It's like Japan and Great Britain, right? Where you have, you know what I'm saying, like Honda, Toyota, fucking whatever the fuck else. And in America, you got Ford, GM, Dodge, and then back in the '70s, you had Packard, AMC. You know what I mean? All these are fucking like smaller companies and shit. And then GM had like 15 brands underneath of it instead of Ford, right? Yeah, right. And Jeep, Ram, fucking whatever. Italy in America, and then you had Britain, which had like Triumph. Shit, there's like fucking Rolls Royce. These are all German now, or some other company, right? Fucking or India or whatever the case is. Bentley. Um, there was a bunch of them that were in Britain, but nowhere else, like other than like Italy, Britain, and America, and has the amount of like fucking auto based infrastructure. But Italy, you know, I mean, most definitely like back down on that because like Italy's a very like walking based culture, and they're very very fucking family oriented, like extremely family oriented, just because of the fact that like country's so divided between like different places. You know what I mean? So like it ends up being where like you're so isolated that you walk to a lot of places you have to go. And then you have fucking Japan, which is kind of shaped like Italy, where it's this long fucking peninsula, long island shape, right? But they put in like heavy amounts of like public infrastructure, right? Whereas America didn't do that. And then Italy also did that. They put a ton of like fucking public infrastructure in, like subways and bus lines and all that type of stuff, trolleys, right? America ripped its fucking trolleys up in the 1960s and 70s at like the height of the lead gasoline, right? Where it's literally like fucking America just went full on for like its fucking lead shit, for its car culture. Because, you know what I mean, that fed the fucking GDP because all these people like were working, like at one point, 1 in 5 people in America were like working for the fucking auto industry in the 1960s. Yeah. Unions, middle class, you know what I mean? But yeah, fucking, so like, yeah, look, that's why America's worse than everywhere the fuck else, because we had way more cars, right? And then there was way less regulation on anything, because like you can't regulate something as big as fucking America, because there's just too many fucking people and not enough like ability to like actually, I don't know, like enforce anything. But yeah, I agree. Let's keep going.
Anyone that was raised by a boomer and now has children, please answer me this.
All right, unpopular opinion time. Here's your answer, and you're probably not going to like it. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and bet that you probably have multiple kids with multiple baby daddies. I get this from the fact that your parents said you made these decisions, now you get to live with them. So obviously, as an angry single mother who takes zero responsibility for her own actions, it's only natural that you would blame other people for your life issues. And I just find it funny that you want to blame your parents for not wanting to spend time with your kids when your parents obviously didn't want to spend time with you in the first place because, like you said, they used to pawn you off on their family members just to get away from you. But yes, go ahead and blame it on the fact that you just need to run some errands. It's 2022. What errand can't you run with a kid? Why not just tell the truth? You want a girls' night to go get drunk with your friends. You talk about this in your other video about having a bar with an attached daycare. Take responsibility for your own actions. Stop blaming your parents for not wanting to hang out with your crotch goblins.
Anyone that was raised
I agree. I fucking agree. 100%. Like, yo, listen. No, he didn't nail shit. Bro, look. No. It is baseless. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Listen. They're children. They're not crotch goblins. Right? Like, regardless of, that's not besides the point. That is the point. No. All right, listen. Nah, yo, look. When you're in a long-term committed relationship, right? Boomer, you've been married. You were married for like what, 20 years and shit, right? Now, did you take your wife out? You know what I'm saying? And like go to like, you know, I don't know, like, huh? Or did I call you? I apologize, buddy. I apologize. Now, Mountain, I'm sorry. Mountain. Now, you were married for like 20 years, right? You took your wife out, right? Now, did you take your kids out when you took your wife out? Why did you take, no. So you didn't date your wife? You didn't like take your wife on like a date to like dinner and fucking like a movie or anything by yourselves? Okay. I feel you, right? But this is, I remember. Yeah, I remember being like a fucking kid and like my parents would take me out to like their friend's house and my fucking parents would get fucking slaughtered, right? And like I'd end up like, you know what I mean? Like sleeping in some fucking basement on a fucking couch somewhere, like fucking underneath of a table or something, or I'd be passed out in the fucking closet or something. You know what I mean? Like as a fucking real young kid, I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old, right? But the point is that if you want to have like a functional relationship, right? Between you and your wife, especially like today, like take away, like, fucking before industrialization, but like today as a whole, like how are you going to be able to maintain having a relationship with your wife, right? Without like being able to like take her the fuck out and do shit with her because like that's what she expects. You know what I mean? Like that has to happen in order for you to have a relationship. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Right. Oh, yeah, you have to. You gotta take your wife and go do shit with her, right? You know what I mean? And this is something like I've actually. No, 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 no. Your parents should, right? Because they should want your relationship to function. No, no, no. Mm. Yo, you walk it even further out, bro. Walk it even further out, bro. No, 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 no. Fuck that. Dead that noise, right? Dead that noise. That's the whole point of this fucking stream, right? We cannot stand here and say that like you shouldn't like. We have to support like our family members' relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like when my kid gets married, like, and my kid goes, "Hey, listen, you know what I mean? Like me and my wife are having problems. Like, yo, give me the fuck kid for the night. Take your wife out and go do something." Right? That's your job as a parent. Hmm. Yeah, like, yeah, like you want your grandkids to be like, like, fucking decent human beings and have some skills and shit, right? Yeah, as I said, you want them to have skills. Passing down the culture. And like, yo, support them. Listen, this is support, right? Like, yo, there's a reason why we use. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's a reason. Wait, there's a reason why we use the word support, right? Like the reason why we use this word, like fucking support, is because of the fact that like it's literally like a structure, right? Like in your house, you have like supporting beams, right? And you have like support structure in your house, right? And in a family and in like a community and like a fucking in a fucking family unit and in like a society, you have support structures, right? And you're supposed to support the people around you, right? That's why they call it support, is because like you're helping hold them up, right? Like you're supposed to support your kids' fucking marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to stand here and like fucking like be a fucking dick about things. You know what I mean? And go like, oh well, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like I did my shit or whatever. It was hard for me, so I'm gonna fucking make it hard for them. That's fucking stupid, right? It's a dumb fucking mentality. Like, why does this chick have 3 babies' daddies? Do you ever consider that might be because of the fact that, like, literally, like, her parents offer her no support for her fucking relationships? Oh, this is agreed, but like that husband has parents who are supposed to support. It's supposed to be both sides, right? It's supposed to be like, hey, listen, you know, like our kids have a child together. We should probably help them the fuck out as much as possible, right? You know what I mean? And support them being, you know what I mean, like a positively functioning fucking relationship for the good of the child. Like, you know, for the good of your family. Like, this isn't a hard concept. Yeah. Yeah, but like our idea in the West, yeah, but like our idea, like in America, fuck the West. Like our idea in America is, oh, you want them to fucking have good functioning grandkids, you need to fucking teach them lessons about making bad decisions. So let them suffer their consequences. No. No, right? Yo, listen, you don't just let your fucking kids suffer because like that makes everybody around them suffer. That's fucking stupid. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean it 100% did. Well, I mean, oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like the fucking helicopter parenting thing is tough, and I find myself doing it oftentimes. I'll be honest with you, right? Because like you know, like I don't know, like fucking, you know, it's scary watching your kids fuck up. You know what I mean? It really is, right? You know, like I was at I took my kids over to Bass Pro today. I needed some fucking fishing weights, but ultimately, like I wanted to, like, you know, they get to go like look at the stuffed animals and shit. You know what I mean? Like the fucking like the lions and the zebras and the fucking, you know what I mean, fucking buffalo and whatever, and they get to go like fucking play that little shooting game, and they can make a little like fucking penny or whatever that gets all stretched out. You know, like a little cool ass time for them, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a good start to the day. And you know, what I mean, like we're riding the escalators, and like my one daughter like fucking bumps in my other daughter on the escalator, and she starts falling. I'm fucking, my heart jumps in my throat, and I'm fucking reaching over to grab her to stop her from fucking falling and shit. Scary shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right? It's fucking terrifying. But like, you know, these are, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, you know, this is the thing about like having kids. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to do that type of shit. You're going to stand here and be like a helicopter parent, where like you're like, listen, I gotta like introduce you to the world. You know what I mean? But I can't let you go like entirely too fucking far. You know what I mean? Without, you know what I mean, worrying about like what's gonna fucking happen to you. But I think that's how shit's. I don't think we can't keep it 80s anymore. There is no 80s anymore. Yeah, I agree. Right. Like what we need to do. Good. Well, nothing works at the moment. So like, what we need is functioning communities. Yeah, like we need functioning community. We just don't have that. You know what I mean? Like we need shit that makes sense. Um, you know what you need, bruh? No. You know what you really need? Yeah. You. No. What you here's what you need. You need to destroy like national fucking brands, right? When it comes to like stores, right? You need, you have to have like functioning businesses inside of communities, right? Like because you need to have like little corner stores and like little fucking restaurants and like ice cream shops and like shit that functions in your community that's yours. You know what I'm saying? So like the kids have a place to like go to walk to, and like you need like a local agriculture, right? That where like if motherfuckers trade inside of the community to make it function as a community. Like it cannot be like just a place to live and keep your stuff. Well, that's what you're doing, right? Like when you're having these relationships with other humans, that means that like these kids, you know what I'm saying, who like, say like you grow eggs, your other person grows tomatoes, like y'all's kids are gonna like, fucking hang out, and go and like do shit, just as an in general thing, right? But like each other, so therefore when like your kids go missing, you can call them and go, hey, listen, you seen these motherfuckers, bro? Like they were supposed to be home like an hour ago. No, I ain't fucking seen them. We're like, yeah, they're fucking over here doing whatever. Like, yo, listen, send that motherfucker the fuck home. You know what I mean? That type of thing. You need to know each other in a community as parents. And then like you can have these structures start to where like we can do the day of the pillow and just get rid of the fucking boomers, right? And start from the ground up and like literally have like shit that functions properly from now on. I mean, I was thinking sugar in the water, you know what I mean? Like they all have diabetes anyway. I got insulin, I'm cool. I was thinking about that as like part of like I think that needs to be tried, right? Where like you stop punishing men for having kids. I bet you'd have a whole lot more kids. They would all be Chads. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel you. Right. Completely agree. Right. Like maybe we should stop punishing men for having children. You know what I mean? For making children. Right. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, I mean, you have to remove, like, you gotta, like, listen, you have to remove social services, right? That has to go by the wayside. Um, this Anglo idea of, like, your kids never being punished for anything, you know what I mean, needs to go away. You have to get rid of, like, you have to ban shows like Law and Order, right? They all have to disappear. Like all this shit, like, I mean, anytime somebody starts talking shit about some stuff like that, right, you just fucking just murk it. You know what I mean? You arrest that person and throw them in Gitmo, some shit, right? Um, because like it's like we are obsessed with fucking like pedos and shit. You know what I mean, in our society. Right. You know what I mean? Like fucking like we can't keep like fucking obsessing about like dumb like that type of shit. Um oh yeah, I mean, yo, listen, no, like yo, like psychologists talked about. Yeah, it's never happened, right? Listen, listen. I wanted to, yo, look, I wanted to say goodbye to my kids today before I fucking left, right? You know what I mean? I was at my baby's mom's house, or whatever, right? And fucking, you know, what I mean, like one of them was in the house, the other two were like out back at somebody else's house or whatever. And I caught like, the one of them, I caught one of them was in the house, one was just leaving the house to go play. I fucking gave her a hug and kiss and said, I love you. You know what I mean? I'll see you later. You know what I mean? Daddy's going home. Right. And then I was going down the road and like the other one was behind the fucking building and shit playing with her friends or whatever. Right. And the other one had been there at that point. And I like in my brain, I went, somebody's going to say some shit. You know what I mean? I still like fucking hollered out, you know what I mean? Got her over. But somebody's going to say some shit if I call my kid over to my goddamn fucking car. I shouldn't have that thought in my head. I shouldn't have to worry about that type of shit as a dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna, like, if I have to explain this to the fucking cops, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, listen, you know me, man. Listen, I'm paranoid, right? So I just run through these scenarios in my fucking head and shit. Like, these are not things that you should have to worry about as a human. You know what I mean? Yo, listen, that shit'll fuck me up, bro. Wake up in the middle of the night all fucking wigging the fuck out. But like this is the shit, you know what I mean? Where it's like, and on top of that, like our state governor recently had to come out and like go, like, listen, you know, the instances of these type of things are like fucking at historic lows. But y'all are acting like it's a number one problem in the fucking state, right? You know what I mean? Like all crimes are down, and I mean it's not dangerous. And this is why, like, I have this giant problem when we have this conversation about immigration as a crime thing. Like, I get it, it's propaganda, but like, it's fucking stupid because like immigration and crime are not really linked, right? As a statistical thing, they're not correlated at all, right? Mm. And why is that? That used to not be a thing. Yeah, exactly, right? It's always been like, you know, like the poorest people. It was literally poor people. Yeah, right. I mean, the culture was terrible, right? Like, listen, this is the fucking problem, right? In the end of the day, is like literally we stand here and like we talk like these, we say these stupid fucking platitudes, and we have these dumb fucking paradigms in our head of like how shit works. But like the reality is like what's fucking shit up is just there's too many goddamn people coming in and destroying our wages. That's the conversation we should be having about that shit, right? Like, why are our communities all fucked? Like, our communities are fucked up because of the fact that, like, literally, like, nobody fucking knows anybody and everybody's watching everybody constantly. Right? And that's where the helicopter parenting shit comes from. Good news is like, well, it's Karen shit. It sorta is, right? But it's also like, fucking, what's a good white name for a dude? William. It's William shit, right? It's Bill. It's Frank. No, 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 no. Listen, you, me and you, right? Me and you, Mountain, all right? We're big dudes. Right? Like, me and you, like, listen, every time we go into an area, right? We step into a room full of dudes. Both of us are eyeing everybody up in the fucking ball, right? To figure out what's going to need to be done if something bad happens, right? And we're pretty sure we can handle that situation, right? Right? But like when we're talking about, like William, the fucking tech guy, right? Who weighs 120 pounds, you know what I mean? And is like 5'5". That dude there, yes, he's no different than a woman. Because me and you. Mm. No. I said he's like the women, right? We're like, he's worried about all the dudes around him, right? That's where like these Nick Fuentes Groiper guys come from. Yo, hold up, bro. Wait. Yo, listen, we gotta say hi to everybody who's in the chat right now. Hang on a minute, bro. Like, I apologize. Like, cause I ain't been paying attention to the chat at all. Yo, listen, Jacob, motherfucking Enclave Heart, Willie, Canuckastani, motherfucking The Killing Joke. What up, man? James, goddamn Browns boys out here. What up? I had a conversation with him the other fucking day and shit. Fucking the next 6 minutes, Rock E. Shepherd is in the motherfucking chat. What up, GF? Bruh, listen, you know what I'm saying? Fucking, hold up, John Jacob J, yo, what up, man? Nice to see you out here. Fucking Jeffy Smirking Revenge, yo, what up, my brother? How you doing? Benji Buckles, listen, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, Tactical Fat Nap, yo, what up, man? Welcome, everybody, welcome. Nice to see everybody the fuck out here. I apologize, I didn't check y'all out earlier. I'm fucking, you know what I mean? We're busy having this conversation, getting lost in this shit. But I just want to say what up to the chat, you know what I mean? Fucking, we got some people watching tonight. Motherfuckers is out here like, man, listen, Sunday was nice out. Fucking, like, yo, everybody's, kind of up and chilling. I'm down. But, like, yeah, the point is that, like, yo, we have a lot of people who were born in the past, like, 50 or 60 years who probably ought not to have been born, right? Their fucking moms banged nerds and they made these weak, no chin having motherfuckers, right? Who are scared of the world. And the women are scared of the world, and all of us have been like fucking propagandized, and we allowed the commodification of like our basic structures of society, right? Where like we let the media just say whatever the fuck it wants, however the fuck it wants. and just sell us nonsense and sell advertising on the fucking news. Right? This needs to like stop. Like real shit. Like, you ever watch the Newsroom with Jeff Daniels? It was, yeah, I feel you, right? He had this one rant, not the one that everybody passed around. There was another one, right? Yeah. Hold up. Fucking watch this. Hang on here. Check this out.
Those entrusted with protecting you failed you. And I failed you.
Good evening. I'm Will McAvoy. This is Newsnight. And that was a clip of Richard Clark, former counterterrorism chief to President George W. Bush, testifying before Congress on March 24th, 2004. Americans liked that moment. I liked that moment. Adults should hold themselves accountable for failure. And so tonight, I'm beginning this newscast by joining Mr. Clark and apologizing to the American people for our failure. The failure of this program during the time I've been in charge of it to successfully inform and educate the American electorate. Let me be clear that I don't apologize on behalf of all broadcast journalists, nor do all broadcast journalists owe an apology. I speak for myself. I was an accomplice to a slow and repeated and unacknowledged and unamended train wreck of failures that have brought us to now. I'm a leader in an industry that miscalled election results, hyped up terror scares, ginned up controversy, and failed to report on tectonic shifts in our country, from the collapse of the financial system to the truths about how strong we are to the dangers we actually face. I'm a leader in an industry that misdirected your attention with the dexterity of Harry Houdini, while sending hundreds of thousands of our bravest young men and women off to war without due diligence. The reason we failed isn't a mystery. We took a dive for the ratings. In the infancy of mass communication, the Columbus and Magellan of broadcast journalism, William Paley and David Sarnoff, went down to Washington to cut a deal with Congress. Congress would allow the fledgling networks free use of taxpayer-owned airwaves in exchange for one public service. That public service would be 1 hour of airtime set aside every night for informational broadcasting, or what we now call the evening news. Congress, unable to anticipate the enormous capacity television would have to deliver consumers to advertisers, failed to include in its deal the one requirement that would have changed our national discourse immeasurably for the better. Congress forgot to add that under no circumstances could there be paid advertising during informational broadcasting. They forgot to say the taxpayers will give you the airwaves for free, and for 23 hours a day you should make a profit, but for 1 hour a night you work for us. And now those network newscasts, anchored through history by honest-to-God newsmen with names like Murrow and Reasoner and Huntley and Brinkley and Buckley and Cronkite and Rather and Russer, now they have to compete with the likes of me, a cable anchor who's in the exact same business as the producers of Jersey Shore. And that business was good to us, but Newsnight's quitting that business right now. It might come as a surprise to you that some of history's greatest American journalists are working right now. Exceptional minds with years of experience and an unshakable devotion to reporting the news. But these voices are a small minority now, and they don't stand a chance against the circus when the circus comes to town. They're overmatched. I'm quitting the circus, switching teams. I'm going with the guys who are getting creamed. I'm moved. They still think they can win, and I hope they can teach me a thing or two. From this moment on, we'll be deciding what goes on our air and how it's presented to you based on the simple truth that nothing is more important to a democracy than a well-informed electorate. We'll endeavor to put information in a broader context because we know that very little news is born at the moment it comes across our wire. We'll be the champion of facts and the mortal enemy of innuendo, speculation, hyperbole, and nonsense. We're not waiters in a restaurant serving you the stories you asked for just the way you like them prepared, nor are we computers dispensing only the facts because news is only useful in the context of humanity. I'll make no effort to subdue my personal opinions. I will make every effort to expose you to informed opinions that are different from my own. You may ask, who are we to make these decisions? We are Mackenzie McHale and myself. Ms. McHale is our executive producer. She marshals the resources of over 100 reporters, producers, analysts, and technicians, and her credentials are readily available. I'm Newsnight's managing editor and make the final decision on everything seen and heard on this program. Who are we to make these decisions? We're the media elite. We'll be back after this.
All right. Yeah, this was a TV show. Oh yeah, that never happened, right? But like, this is what like should be a thing, right? Sorta. Well, I mean, the show was made in like I think 2011, 2012. Yeah. So like, basically, the show was made in 2011, about the time period between 2005 and 2012, right? And like, basically, like it was like if the news, like it was about how the news reports on what's happening. You know what I mean? Like while that show's going on, because like they were covering, like they were during the Obama fucking administration, or being made during the Obama administration, and then they were covering shit that was happening during the Obama administration. And, yeah, right. But like it was happening right then and there. Yeah, right, it was super interesting. Like the show was kind of cool, and then like it kind of like did like a lot of like personalized stories and shit. You know what I mean? Like romantic subplots, fucking personal, that type of thing. But yeah, listen, you got to keep fucking women watching, or else your fucking show goes under and there's no ratings. You know what I mean? Basic shit. Yeah. I don't mind it, but like I'm naturally fucking that person. But yeah, like that's the thing though, right? Is like literally like because of the fact that we have these advertisers who are like fucking paying for the fucking news, they have to generate revenue. Right? And in order to generate revenue, they have to like sell, you know what I mean? Like they have to sell like fucking advertising and commercials, which means they have to have eyes on screen. In order to have eyes on screen, they have to stand here and go, "Hey, do you know what's killing your kids in your house? We'll tell you tonight at 6, right?" You know what I mean? Like fucking, and then like it's some nonsense about radon or something. You know what I mean? No. It's always some shit about like something that like applies to you house, right? Like, all right, yeah, I feel you. Somewhat, but I more remember the news in like the early 90s, right? But that was oh OJ. It was OJ that started it off. It was OJ that started it off. That's a basketball team. Um, say some more shit, Mountain. How can you? Listen, fucking gotta go. I feel you. All right, say some more shit. Say some shit.
Check.
What up?
Mic check. Mic check.
There we go. All right, I got you.
Epstein did not kill himself.
I agree.
Personally, I agree.
Like, listen.
He was just overcome with guilt. He just needed that time to like sit with his own thoughts and.
Mountain. We don't need to get into this.
No. Epstein,
How long have we been watching this video? And we're 4 minutes in.
he broke his own neck out of guilt. Is probably what happened.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, man. He saw some of them new fucking TikToks
There
or
we
whatever
go.
the fuck come in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, like fucking Discord dropped off. I don't know what happened, like the audio dropped off, so I had to like correct the shit.
I seen the fucking input output buffer for like 10 seconds.
I don't know. I just fixed it. I had to put it on something else. All right, listen, let's go back to this video. Like, yo, because this is actually a really good video.
Raised by a boomer and now has children. Please answer me this. I don't.
Hi, I definitely was raised by two boomers. One was born in 1943 and the other one was born in 1952. So yeah, they're old. I am 35 and I have 3 kids. And my parents are probably the best grandparents that I know. They help me with everything. They take my kids whenever I want, except when they're snowbirding in Arizona, which is now. But as soon as they're back, they will be hands-on with that guy. Yeah, there's a lot of my friends, though, they don't get help, and their parents are rude to them and tell them that they're not going to help them or whatever, but that's because they chose to have kids with crappy people and be single moms. And my friends' parents are rude. But all my cousins' parents and stuff, they help out, too. It must be a Jewish thing. Like, Jewish parents believe in the village. Convert.
Whatever.
Yo,
God damn it.
I've heard Eric
There's your
Weinstein
answer.
say this too, bro. Like legit, I heard Eric Weinstein say this as well. He said this on the podcast with that fucking dude. What the hell was the guy?
Chris Williamson.
Yeah. He said like fucking he said, listen, my parenting doesn't end when they're 18. He said we have that immigrant mentality and
Because they never settle anywhere.
well, it's not that, right? Is that like again?
Yo,
this is why like I fucking hate
This
the
is
Jewish
how it's
hate.
supposed to be, right?
Right. That's why I hate the
Like,
Jewish hate. Like
We
literally, the
hate
Jews
them
are just
because we
doing.
aren't them in that sense.
Yo, the Jews just do what like white people are supposed to.
Oh, except like the whole, foreskin biting off thing. I don't know if
I mean,
agree
like,
with
listen,
that.
I was circumcised, but like I wasn't. They wasn't big.
No. Like
You know what I mean?
they have the rabbis like bite the foreskins off.
This is different factions. It's not going to be true. So he's the professional class. He's the professional faction. He's definitely not biting foreskins with his mouth. I promise you.
Yeah.
Right? He's like the Jewish version of a wasp. The weird occultists would be like the white trash version of the rabbis who bite penises would be like the KKK. Extremist fucking cultists, like they're just an occult.
Yo, it's the
There's a
Baptist
fucking lot
who.
of
Yo,
them.
it's the Baptist who handles snakes and the Holy Ghost.
A
Yeah,
lot of them live in New
Like-
York.
like yeah. Well, again,
Fucking lot of
it's
them.
if you really had enough, not you personally, but if we had enough brain cells to comprehend everything all at once, we'd see that it's individuals and it's certain cliques and certain hoods and neighborhoods.
Now, you remember
And you
your
can't
argument?
characterize all Jews in one way. That's just
Okay,
impossible.
but you remember your argument when you say like, say you walk out of a corner store, the door walks behind you.
Yeah, this is the race
You have a
test,
group,
but that's an
it's the
extreme
same-
circumstance.
It's literally the same fucking thing, right?
Kind of,
like,
but not really, because
how
that's
many
also the
times
division
is it
test.
How many times does something fucking weird have to happen before we kind of stop considering it a coincidence?
Yeah, but it's not the Brett Weinsteins. Like, it's a different faction of the tribe at all has
factions within it, and this is true for like
All right.
it's almost as retarded as going to a random black person and being like, y'all have to police your own people. Is like, what are you talking about? Like, what, all black people is my responsibility because I'm black, and all Jews are my responsibility? No, that's crazy shit.
How many Arabs have to, like, go around stabbing people before we say, maybe they like stabbing people?
Yeah, that individual likes stabbing someone, but to go to a random Arab guy and be like, police your people, he's gonna be like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't fucking do
no.
it.
All right, yo, listen. Here's what this is. Wait. Here's what this is. Okay, so like, when you're talking about like religions and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about like people who, you know what I mean, like worship a certain way. Okay, you have these fucking people who like have certain sects of certain religions, right? Like the Catholics have sects where like literally like they'll flay themselves, you know what I mean? Like they'll fucking like a Deus Vault motherfuckers. Like they'll sit there and they'll fucking take a whip and they'll beat themselves in the back and shit, right? And they'll do crazy stuff, right? Fucking
chastising shit.
Yeah, you have like certain sects of like the Protestant or Baptist church, right? They handle snakes. And they'll literally, like, they'll have a pastor come up and beat you with a fucking Bible in the front of the goddamn fucking congregation to, like eviscerate the demons and shit, right? You know what I mean? Yo, and there's, like, fucking the Muslims who, like, have, like, certain sects of, like, the Muslim religion who, like, the Wahhabist or some, like, banana shit. I'm not 100%, like, fucking real knowledgeable about certain different sects of Muslim Islam. There's some of them who are way more militant than other ones, right? And it's like it's a fucking sect by sect thing.
I feel you're right, but I'm talking about racial creeds.
Yeah, but you can't. All right, you can't, right? So like, what you have to understand is that like there's people who are, you know what I mean, black, who are from like Nigeria, who are way more stand up than 90% of the white people in this fucking country.
That's why I specified the Jews and the Arabs.
Well, the Jews, again, like
it's too broad a category.
Yeah. Like, yo, there are Jews out here who like are some of the fucking coolest, nicest, most awesome human beings you will ever meet in your entire life, right? And again, are way more stand up than everybody else. Like Eric Weinstein, right, is the most based motherfucker, right? Of like almost anybody in that dark intellectual web thing, right? He is so fucking based about 90% of shit of what he says. You ever, man?
All right, understand, like doubling down on this, every time you tell a story about the Jews, it's always a time where you've had a problem with the Jews, at least in your personal life. Anytime I've dealt with the Jews in my personal life, they've always tried some scummy shit, right? I've never heard a good story from Mountain about the Jews either. Maybe I'm crazy.
Here, listen, we're gonna get into this.
Well,
check us out.
The ones who don't cause you trouble, you don't hear from. They just keep to themselves. They're just normal people.
The only times I've ever heard good stories about the Jews is when they throw good money at stuff. That's about it.
All right, here, check this out.
Younger people, have you seen the data showing the movement of teenage boys politically to the right? Have you been looking at this?
Well, where else are they going to go?
It's a good question.
I mean, I had a teenage boy. I still have one, but he's 18 now. And I watched them be pushed farther and farther right by their schools. You suck. All of your instincts are bad. These girls are amazing. Look at you. You're pathetic. Be less masculine and more attractive. You're just barking at them constantly. They're not moving right. They're moving out of your stupid way. You've given them what? Nothing. Nothing. One of my son's friends died recently by his own hand. And I don't know what kind of pressures he was put under. But I watched those kids go through this pressure cooker created by this crazy, parasitized, left-wing educational movement. Get away from our sons. Get away from our daughters. Get away from our sons and away from our daughters. It's not left or right. I don't have a Republican bone in my body. Get the crazy people who do not understand human development away from our children.
Based.
Stop giving our daughters terrible life advice.
Well, like,
it's one of these Milgram questions. What am I supposed to say? Let me speak abstractly so we don't get distracted with stupid stuff. Gender is about reproduction. And it's paired, and there's nothing you're going to do that's as good as the male-female pairing that produces families. Yes, there's a ton of problems with it. There's a ton of problems with traditional femininity, with traditional masculinity. I actually believe that toxic masculinity used to mean something before it meant nothing. Right now, we are allowing our children to be parented by people who should be nowhere close to a child, because development for humans is different. We're not like wildebeests where you come out with programming where you can walk on day one. We're basically not blank slates, but self-assembling computers. And what you put into a developing mind, what normal child trying to figure out gender identity does not go through a process trying to figure out, oh, I like that dress. Do I want to marry somebody who's wearing it, or do I want to wear it myself? That's a normal process that you go through in development. And if a parent hears that, they usually, try to guide natural gender identity. Now, what happens when an administrator says, oh, he said he wanted to wear a dress. He's a girl. Everybody respect his choice. You're thinking, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
You took a moment that happens in every boy's life and you turned it into a trans affirmation moment, and then you tried to freeze it in. And let me guess, you really just want to protect something, which is great. Some people want to protect trans kids. Trans kids exist. They have life very hard on them. Okay, let's ask how many trans kids got manufactured by this DEI movement versus how many would occur naturally. And you have type 1 and type 2 error. You have a trans kid who was always going to be a trans kid that wasn't properly treated. That's terrible. I agree with the DEI people about that. You have another huge collection of normal kids who are never going to be trans, and you push them towards this.
Okay, so he's a good dad, right? But the entire part of his talking points there was pretty much can be summed up by the path to hell is paved by good intentions. Right?
I disagree 100%. These people are sick, twisted individuals that are pushing a gay agenda because they want people to be disturbed.
No, I'm talking about him, right? This whole
him.
There are trans kids. No, there fucking aren't. Right? Like he's dancing around some shit.
He has to be politically acceptable. He can't have. You understand who he's talking to, right?
Not a.
He can't be. He can't put himself in a position to be 100% dismissed because he forgot to put a dot on an I, which is what these fucking people do. So he had to say it. I'm with him.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's another video. It's a little bit longer. We'll fight in between a little bit, but
that whole thing was based as fuck.
This one here is even more based, right? Here, check this shit out.
To the point that normal porn has gotten really sick. That if you're not a prude about eroticism, some of the things that you're seeing pushed have to do with the fact that our brains are now habituated to all sorts of things that you probably would never have seen visually unless you were like Genghis Khan, right? Because everything's on demand. And so the search for novelty, I think, is taking, in some cases, quite a dark turn, even for people who are pretty okay with the idea of pornography and eroticism as being an important part of an adult diet for the mind.
Where it worries me as kids, for sure. And I'm maybe even less worried about today than I am in 15 years when you have VR that is bordering on photorealistic, and that's where...
Photoshop whoever you want in. Choose your own experience. That's very disturbing. But I'll be honest, I'm more concerned right now about people finding partners to have children with. I think that this is an economic epidemic that we don't feel comfortable talking about. And
Why aren't people comfortable talking about?
Well, because, for example, if you have a fair idea that you're at risk for not having the family thing work out, like it's gotten a little late in the day and you don't see a lot of prospects lined up and you've had a few relationships that haven't ended in commitment and resources and children, and the economy doesn't seem to want to come up with a 30-year plan to fit a mortgage and getting some kids through college. I think that the transition from the previous world has been pretty brutal, and a lot of people don't want to say, yeah, I really want a family, and if it doesn't work out, it's going to be a major hit to my life and my sense of myself. And we need, in part, I think that a lot of us don't want to see young women forced onto the apps, which seems like it turns life into this ever-present.
From a dating perspective?
Yeah, like it's just, somebody said, this is the singles bar in my pocket. And wherever I'm bored, I just go to the singles bar and start swiping. And I thought, okay, and how do you feel about it? He said, well, in the aggregate, I feel pretty terrible about that, but I can't stop. And so now you've commodified all of this stuff. And I don't think it's a good deal for young women at all. I think that, young women have been used to putting men through their paces and demanding a lot. And, saying, jump this high and seeing who can clear the bar. And when that power is not present, and when men can't win these competitions and have those competitions really mean something, we derange as a society, because society is about continuity, and continuity is about babies. So no matter what you want to do, you can take it away from babies. I remember I was talking to a young woman who was like 26 or something, and she asked me if I had kids, and I said yes. And I said, do you have kids? And she practically spit out her beer, what? And I thought, do you think it's really a crazy question that I would ask a 26-year-old woman if she had kids? And then, she thought about it and just felt very remote. And this is the economy that we're bequeathing to people. And my belief is that if the median individual cannot count on being able to, have a home in a reasonable city that has lots of jobs, so that if one job doesn't work, they can switch, and one person can stay home, doesn't have to be the dad, doesn't have to be a mom and a dad, any pair, but you need somebody with the freedom to stay home to raise children while somebody else can be counted upon to go be the breadwinner in an economy that isn't, absolutely razor's edge. This is nuts. And, it was driven home to me recently, and my father turned 85. We were at a party for his friends, and some of their closest friends lived in our neighborhood when I was growing up. And they were saying, oh, yes, when we moved in all those years ago, there were 14 boys who used to play on the street, and now there are none.
Whoa.
And I said, what do you mean there are none? She said, well, young families can't afford to live on the street. And I said, do you have any thought in your mind that was a catastrophe that happened to your street, and that maybe your generation had some responsibility? This is the silent generation, so before the baby, had something to do to say, hey, maybe this is not good for society if young families. She said, well, these homes are perfect for families. And I said, but you just told me that there are no families on your street. So this is an epidemic, and this is deranging us, and this is a lot of what's behind this kind of sense of injustice and people trying to find groups, I think, to take care of, because you have got a lot of maternal instincts that are not grounding in happy, hopeful homes, raising kids.
That's really interesting. What do you think is the sort of key driver? Is this student loans? Is it the average salary isn't going up? And part of what drives my question is I know what I pay. So my previous company, I had at one point 3,000 employees, about 1,500 full time, and then another 1,500 part time. Here I have 20 plus employees full time, and then another 7 or 8 part time. And I know what I pay them, and it's a good wage. It's a hell of a lot more than I was making at their age. That's probably the easiest way to say it. Okay. So where is it that just the way that we are and what we pay is not indicative of what other companies pay? Is it something else?
Well, this is just going to be really kind of brutal. First of all, we're in an orchard with lots of low-hanging scientific fruit where you could take the scientific fruit and turn it into technology in short order. We're still making scientific advances, but most of those that are even fairly profound are not instantly convertible into technology. So there might be low-hanging fruit in a new orchard, but we haven't found the new orchard, so we're picking fruit that has a very different characteristic. So that's the first part, is that our pipeline got screwed up.
But how does that really play out in like dollars and cents? So I'm thinking of this street, right? It's the perfect analogy. So you have a street, the houses have a price to buy, they have a price to rent. So when I think about, okay, what is stopping somebody from either buying or renting? So if the prices are too high?
Prices are too high.
So then is it that the prices are artificially too high because we have a bunch of empty houses and people who are buying as an investment and they're just being stupid?
So you're fairly familiar with my theories and acronyms and things. So you've probably heard about the embedded growth obligation, the ego.
But what I get that, and that scares me, and I totally buy into it. What I don't, and for anybody listening, and tell me if I fuck this up, but like basically we have a system that's entirely predicated on continued growth, and that growth slowed down starting in the 70s or 80s, and we've done a lot of bullshit shell games to make it seem like we're growing. And the one that when you give, I'm always freaked the fuck out by, is the essentially Ponzi scheme of education. Where higher education, you're teaching people to be professors, but there's only going to be so many professors, or to law firms, only going to be so many partners. So it's like
every graph tells the same story.
So, but what I don't understand is if that's been the same since the 70s, like I didn't even graduate high school until the mid-90s, and this has nothing ever seen. I mean, look, there were times I couldn't quite pay my bills. There were times where, I was sharing an apartment with a bunch of people, but it's like it never felt like the system had broken in some impossible way. And this isn't me saying that it isn't broken. This is me just saying I want to really understand like where we've gone wrong.
Well, so this is what I say to my friends in San Francisco. So they've got good jobs, they're programmers, they're having a blast, they're going to Tulum and, traveling to Bali and all these things. And so I say, you're living in a group house. What do you think about buying your own home and asking that gal you've been going out with for a couple of years to get married? And like the conversation just gets really weird. Well, I'm not so confident that I can commit to a 30-year mortgage, and prices are insane, and I'm not positive that she's the right one for me, and all these things. Or if I talk to my female friends, they have a set of different stories, which is like, I'm so tired of little boys who never grow up.
Is this a psychological malaise? Like, because that explanation I can understand.
We're not excited about low variance futures needed for children as we see.
Because we don't see things popping off. Like, this isn't Beijing in 2006 where it's just like the sky's the limit, or?
Well, I think people have a pretty strong sense. Well, like I hired a millennial who I'm very good friends with. And I noticed that he was like not that committed to certain kinds of projects. He would work hard, but he also had a very clear sense of, my obligation ends at this point. I said, well,
I know this person. I think they work here.
Okay.
Keep going.
And I said, well, why do we have a difference in a sense of work ethic? And he said, oh, because my generation watched your generation get screwed by the baby boomers, and we're not falling for it.
Do you buy that?
Yeah.
That sounds like bullshit to me. Oh. And when I say I am happy to be convinced, what I want is the fucking truth, dude.
All right,
because
dude.
I have no interest
Let's get to the truth.
Let's get to the truth. Because so I have a psychotic work ethic. Why? Because I didn't used to, and my entire life changed when I changed my work ethic.
But look, you're talking. It sounds to me like you're talking about founding companies.
I've done both. I've been an employee and I've founded companies, so I've played both sides of the fence.
And how did the employee? Well, look, I don't want to over-index on. I mean, because there are particular lawyers in particular law firms who aren't founding anything, who are doing just fine, but it's a minority position. And what I believe is that we are in a situation in which we are not excited by the future, and the people who are real stakeholders in the system have in general been very focused on making sure that the pyramid is always supplied. So this idea, for example, of you have to go to college, the debt has to become non-dischargeable in bankruptcy, we get to load up the universities with administrators, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the main one, which is really bizarre, which is there's the secret weapon. And the secret weapon is immigration. And the great part about immigration as a invidious tool for one generation to screw another generation with is that if you call it out, there's only one explanation for why you would fight having other people added to the bottom of a pyramid scheme, which is you must be a xenophobe or probably a racist. And the answer is no, I'm really just trying to choke your supply of new virgins to add to this pyramid scheme so that you can continue to transfuse yourself.
Yeah, that's interesting. So let me see if I can steelman this quickly. This is the one time in my life where I am the one that has a hard out in 5 minutes. I'm so fucking horrified. This is so interesting to me. So I'll try to do it quickly. Okay, so we have a pyramid scheme in that there are only so many jobs, and I'll even abstract it from being a lawyer, which is very easy to understand. There's only so many people make partner. Being a teacher, it's easy to understand. You can only create so many other teachers, and obviously we're talking at higher education. And I'll just say your normal job, and I've told my employees this, like, look, every step you go up, there's fewer available positions until you get to the CEO, and there's only one. So yeah, there's only you can get promotion. I've never thought of there being sort of a
he's not like a particularly bad guy.
What up?
Like, I said, I think I get your original point of here's this one Jew and he's not particularly a bad guy. But I think in general, probably not worth trusting him. Like, my opinion's not changed. I've seen far worse than better, or far more worse than I have better.
I mean, like, look, okay. I use the phrase, you gotta like swallow the meat and spit out the bones, right? I mean, it's like my favorite like phrase, right? About this type of shit.
Dog, you're sucking on a fucking ribeye center.
Right. The problem is that like there's a lot of shit that motherfuckers say, right? You know what I mean? Where you kind of have to like take the parts that are like good and then like get rid of the parts that are bad. Like when the Jews start talking about like supporting Israel, you know what I mean, and like free speech in the media and all these type of things, right? Kind of got to just go like, yeah, listen, that's Jewish bullshit, right? You know what I mean? But then like when they're talking about like this type of shit, or when they're talking about families and they're talking about like how like shit's supposed to operate, you know what I mean? Like, that's stuff that you have to, like, fucking go, yes. You know what I mean?
This is the first Jew I've ever heard speak against immigration outside of Israel.
Now, there's a lot of them, right, that have spoken out against, like, immigration, right?
Outside of Israel.
No, there's tons of them who have spoken about this. Right? It's just, you don't fucking know that they're fucking Jewish when they're saying this shit.
It wasn't the context of this conversation. Like, that guy has commented on that subject when asked. He's talking about being an American.
Well, he's talking about like, listen, you know what I mean? Like the problem is that like, actually, you know what, here, let's listen to like the rest of this. There's only like 6 minutes left, right? Because he really gets into like some very...
I'm looking at.
Huh?
How's the audience doing is what I'm looking at, because we just kind of sat here for 13 minutes in silence.
Oh. We're good. Yeah, we're fucking good. You know what I mean?
Guys still all good out there?
Yeah, we're good.
Yo, homeboy was fucking spitting fire.
Yeah, listen. Let's finish this up because bro really gets into it. Hold up.
Money does not strike me as the finite resource. The promotion strikes me as the finite resource. You can keep making more and more money depending on the health of the company and your contributions to it. So that's part of my bias, is that when I try to use just first principles, I'm like, if this person is that valuable to me, I'm going to fucking pay them because I have fear of loss. I don't want to lose them. So, which is why I default to create fear of loss in your employer if you want more money, but the company has to be doing well. So let me stick to the Ponzi scheme here. So very interesting take on immigration. So you have people coming into the system. They're willing to work cheaper than the other people would otherwise work in the system.
You got to be careful about that, but keep going.
It's interesting. I'm trying to represent your position.
No. But what I'm trying to say is that really the biggest issue is push out the labor supply curve.
You say that another way.
Your wage is your price.
Yep, and I bring people from foreign countries to make sure you can't compete because they'll do it for cheap. Yes?
No, it's not even that. I mean, maybe the idea is that you're a superior source of labor.
Who's you?
Whoever you are, you're the domestic. Let's assume that you're a worker inside of the U.S.
Yep.
The big play, in some sense, of the previous generations, the silent generation, and more importantly, the baby boomers, was internationalism, which they called globalization. And the hidden part of globalization that wasn't the United Colors of Benetton was the idea if we can just break our dependence on each other and look abroad and tell a beautiful story about what we're going to do for Africa and Asia, then the idea is that we can continue to grow our slice of the pie even though the pie might not be growing at the same rate. Because from my perspective, as a silent generation or baby boomer, I'm focused on a slice, not the pie. And so there was a huge amount of value gotten from tricking people into thinking that globalization was this beautiful Davos-inspired kind of philanthropy that was going to be a rising tide to raise all boats. And those Americans who had rights inside of our system, and this goes for Brits who had British rights and French who had French rights, whatever, had a right that was valuable, which is I have asymmetric access to my labor market. And that's how we worked as a nation. So now you start the world's greatest PR campaign, which is patriotism doesn't exist. It's only nationalism. And of course, nationalism is really ultranationalism, which is jingoism, which is a precursor to Nazism. So you start saying, you know, I kind of believe in citizenship and patriotism, and now you're telling me that I'm a bad person. And now you've got the Davos crowd talking about financial inclusion in Africa and Asia, and you notice that they're not really that interested in Michigan or Alabama. And
Tell me why they're not, because I felt like I understood it until you told me that I was getting
because
it wrong.
the amount of value, you see, if I had to purchase your rights, and I wrote a paper
to what?
Well, your asymmetric access to your labor market. I wrote a paper called "Migration for the Benefit of All," published in the International Journal of Labor. I forget what the title is. Migration for the Benefit of All, which said if you pay people for their rights, like if the baby boomers in silence said, "Look, we think we can get better labor outside, and we want to pay you for the right to shop elsewhere," then the idea is that everybody would have been better off and we would have all screamed kumbaya at each other as we got rich together. But instead what they said is you're a protectionist and a jingoist and a xenophobe. We loaded them up with as much negative imagery as possible. You're just a bad person.
And they were doing that, though, so they can get cheaper labor, right? So they can keep you from having leverage.
But you keep saying it as we're willing to work below. But my point is that if this coffee mug cost $10, and now we have 10,000 coffee mugs, it's not that those coffee mugs are willing to be bought for less. The entire cost of coffee mugs plummets. It's just pushing out the supply curve on labor and wages its price. So it behaves much as supply and demand should. Now, you can then point out, you can make lots of other arguments like, well, some of these people are starting business and people are not coffee mugs, and these are the most vibrant members of our, so you cue Stars and Stripes forever, you put your right hand over your heart. But the key point is that all of these arguments were necessary to keep the institutional structure going as the Ponzi scheme ran out. And a lot of this has to do with what I've called fake growth, downsizing, offshoring, immigration, securitization. It's just this mind-numbing parade of different techniques that these older generations have used to keep a system afloat that has been saying, we're exhausted. Like the law firms are supposed to fail, the universities are supposed to fail. All sorts of the newspapers don't make sense as a business model. And things that you're creating and that we all might create would be replacing these things. But instead what we've done is we've come up with an exotic kind of economic parabiosis where we're going to transfuse our fellow Americans and the younger generations to pay for a group of people who are just far too expensive to keep living in the style to which they have unjustly become accustomed. So I'm sorry about your hard stop, but I think that there's a tremendous amount to be excited about and enthusiastic about because in essence, getting back to your original point, you're right about the Matrix. For 50 years, we've been in a constellation of ideas, suppressing the really interesting new ideas and calling names on anybody who would propose ideas that would point out the unstable nature of our market democracy. And right now what we're doing is we're living through the beginning of a global, low-grade revolution of a type that we've never seen before.
If you like that...
There we go.
Yep, pretty much.
Cappy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Keeping it a buck, I'm like falling asleep at my desk.
Now listen, go take your ass to bed, man. I'm gonna end this motherfucker anyway because like gotta go take. Being honest with you, I probably should make some food. But like, yo, listen, the whole point of this fucking live stream is that like boomers are fucking garbage. You know what I mean?
Agree. Catch y'all.
Oh, John Latrono, what's up, man? Fucking right here, right? Yeah, like that's kind of the deal, right? You know what I mean? Of like where the fuck we're at. Like boomers are fucking garbage. You know what I mean? Like, yo, the day of the pillow needs to come because they're literally fighting against like us being able to like live our lives as, and they're fucking over the next like fucking 2 or 3 generations below them who, you know what I mean, like need to be raised. Like these kids deserve to survive. They deserve to be able to have parents that can afford to like fucking take care of them. Like it shouldn't be, you know what I mean, on that level of where, you know, fucking can't have a kid without food stamps and fucking welfare. You know what I mean? Or like fucking working 3 goddamn jobs and never seeing them. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be a fucking thing.
Right. And also stop falling for all the mainstream bullshit. When you see boomers out there parading for the same thing, it's probably not in your best interest. Whatever it is they're fucking protesting.
Yeah, whatever the baby boomers are doing usually tends to be bad. Right? Like I saw one recently where fucking they said, oh, this one here I was gonna fucking read fucking the new polling shows that Donald Trump's approval rating has plunged with baby boomers because of course it has. Like it's picked up with everybody the fuck else. I mean, like the millennials and the zoomers, they're all fucking happy about what he's doing because they're like, please, we need a fucking raise. You know what I'm saying?
We need a future.
Yeah.
The people with the least amount of time are the most concerned about their a future for only themselves and no one else. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yo, listen, I understand the baby boomers, like, they have their own shit that they want, like Social Security, they want their freedom, blah, blah, blah. But listen, and somebody needs to say this, like, in public, on the news, that the boomers are enslaving the future generation.
Yeah, they call it eating the young. This has been a corporate stance for decades. Like, this is known.
Yeah.
It's a standard fucking operating policy. Like, this is what they do.
I mean, but like they can't.
It's all Ponzi. It's Ponzi economics.
True.
It's in government. It's in business. It's in organizations. This is just what they do.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole 2009 like fucking bailout and shit was literally about bailing out the boomers' fucking returns. It was bailing out the boomers' assets.
And it was global. It wasn't even about the U.S. It was based on U.S. assets, but it was at that point, everyone got sold into it.
I feel you. Yo, listen. We watched like part of that one video. We didn't get the whole way through it here. I wanted to show this one too about boomer grandparents. This is what the fuck's his goddamn name? Anthony and Gavin McGinnis. Check this shit the fuck out.
So, did they come down here just to visit the kids and you? And
no, their time's running out. They summer in they winter in Florida, but they have 6 months. Visit the kids.
All right.
They have no idea. Like the days of the grandfather building your daughter like a dollhouse,
right?
With believable tiles.
Yeah.
He doesn't know their name.
This is terrible.
I
feel awful
today
about
my mother was like,
situation.
I like sitting out. I don't like pubs. I like going to the backyard. I mean, it's quiet. Of course, the kids come home.
Call the garden.
And they say hello and stuff, but then they're gone immediately.
Oh, she's happy when
so that's a good thing that my children get out of her fucking face.
Is this a Scottish thing or your parents?
I think it's a boomer thing. I think boomers are the worst grandparents that have ever existed. And I know other people where they go, don't call me grandma. My name's Zuby. Or like Boo Boo or shit.
Oh, they don't want to be
yeah,
called
it makes me
grandpa
feel
or
old.
Oh my God.
Oh, they fucking suck.
Wow. That's brutal.
Yeah, they're the worst grandparents ever. My grandparents were like, my grandpa made me a go-kart, and my grandmother was like a friend I would write letters to.
Oh my goodness.
Like, we were pals.
Yeah.
These guys, they don't know what my kids' names are.
My grandma would cook for us on Sundays. We would
Making
go over
lasagna.
there. Oh, the sauce and the fucking braciole.
Sebastian Maniscalco. My grandmother making lasagna, throwing it up the stairs.
Yeah. Like, listen, I just wanted to use up like the rest of my fucking joint. You know what I mean? Fucking. And here's a lead poisoning thing, right? Okay. Childhood lead. This is from the NIH or NCBI, right? The NIH. Childhood lead exposure causes lifelong psychological problems, which may be more extensive than previously thought. In a sample of 1.5 million, we found that U.S. and European residents who grew up in areas with higher levels of atmospheric lead had less adaptive personality profiles in adulthood, lower conscientiousness, lower agreeableness, and higher neuroticism, even when accounting for socioeconomic status. These effects were driven by participants ages 20 to 39 in the natural experiments. Reductions of leaded gasoline in the United States found in 1970 Clean Air Act corresponded with increases psychologically healthy personality traits. These results suggest that even low-level lead exposure may adversely impact personality traits, harming the well-being, longevity, and economic prospects of millions of people. Fucking 269 U.S. counties and 37 European nations personality questionnaire data from over 1.5 million people who grew up in these areas, adjusting for age and socioeconomic status. U.S. adults who grew up in counties with higher atmospheric lead levels had less adaptive personality profiles. They were less adaptable, less agreeable, less conscientious. On younger participants, more neurotic. Next, we utilized a natural experimental removal of leaded gasoline because of the 1970 Clean Air Act. Test whether lead exposure caused these personality difference. Participants born after atmospheric lead levels began to decline in their county had more mature, psychologically healthy adult personalities, highable agreeableness, and conscientious neuroticism. Findings were not discriminable from pure cohort effects. Finally, we replicated European participants who spent their childhood in areas with more atmospheric lead were less agreeable, more neurotic in adulthood. Our findings suggest that further reduction of lead exposure is check this out. Childhood lead exposure causes substantial physical and psychological problems. Among other deficits, children exposed to even low levels of lead have lower intelligence quotients, drop out of school more often, and are more likely to exhibit conduct problems. In response, research highlighting the devastating consequences of lead exposure, U.S. and European governments have curbed lead emissions. Lead levels in population dropped by 93.6% from 1970 to 20.
So the after effects are boomer mentality sneaking into our marketing, would you say?
Right, look, I'm saying
Like it's the fact that they run all the media and all the messaging and all the money. They're in all the management, the government.
fucking like people born after 1980. Like yo, so the worst places, like fucking of course, right? Fucking California, for some reason, Idaho near Boise, fucking where humans live, Texas. What it is, you know what I mean? Wanted to.
Well,
This is why, you know what I mean? Like I say the things that I say, and I mean like, you gotta feel bad for the boomers because they were poisoned, but on the same level, like bro, you can't let their poison fuck us up.
yeah. Yeah, it's like making Beetlejuice the president.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure as to like how to, I mean, deal with it. Just day of the pillow.
Well, I'd say step one, analyze all messaging a little extra hard. Like, don't fall for everything. Like, the news isn't the news anymore. And beyond news, like, pretty much anything that, let's tie it all together, right? So you played that Jeff Daniels clip where there's a financial incentive to show you shit on a screen, whatever that screen may be, big or small. It's being monetized. So they're trying to do things to get attention and get you to buy in that so you'll tune in the next time. And there's obviously millions and millions of stories to choose from every day, but why do they choose the shit that they do to discuss all the time? High emotional buy-in, and they want an outcome. They want you to like show up and fucking wave a flag or stand in front of a building or scratch someone's, like they want you to do this shit. Why? So don't fucking listen to everything. There's definitely an agenda with all the promotions, all the fucking songs, all the commercials, all the ads, all the talking points, all the talking heads. It's bullshit. I think we need like an informational go your own way moment.
That's what
You know what I mean?
That's what the
I mean, kind of.
no, that's what the internet is. That's why like now when we watch a news.
There's this, I think he's Scottish or British. There's this British hedge fund manager turned economist that's been making the rounds since I think January.
Right.
And the algorithm's starting to pick him up. And he's saying, look, I made money, but I'm here to give you a good message. And the real problem is income inequality.
Exactly who you're talking about.
But what he's really talking about is uniformity in messaging. He's like, if we don't stick to like a message, because so yeah, okay. So the internet is the discontinuation of the religion of media, but at the same time, it's not because it has no form. So at some point, one unifying message does have to come into existence that defies all the other bullshit weirdo agenda messages combined. Something that's real. I think he nailed it. That's it.
It's this dude fucking.
I'm sick of multimillionaires telling
Yes,
kids
him.
who can't afford to turn the heating on,
Yo, listen, bro. This dude looks like the type of guy who, like, around, like, if he lived here in America, he'd be selling coke.
Okay, welcome back to Gary's Economics. Today,
Yeah, this
With
is
that
a diary
crafty
of
accent. I wasn't even interested in coke until I heard his accent. I'm like, well, yeah, you know what?
He just
Little bit.
looks like the type of guy who sells coke out of the back of like a fucking in the back of a club.
You would need a little earring,
Oh yeah,
like a leather jacket. Then I'm
yeah.
with it.
Oh, but he has the tattoos, right? He has like the fucking look, right?
A scar. He needs like an under the eye scar.
Or like one on his forehead or some shit. This has the exact look of a fucking guy. The guy's name is Gary. I forget the fuck his like full.
I full on support what he's doing.
Very
I think he's 100% right. That is the one message that can drown out all the fucking noise because it really cuts to the heart of the
It's
issue.
not about taxing is not the end.
He didn't. That's one method, but the heart of the issue is income inequality, and I think we can all agree on that.
I mean, the answer, like, no, because he's anti, like, the real answer. The real answer is anti-immigration, right? That is literally the actual answer. The actual answer is stop immigration, right? Because even if you have a service economy, right, and then like you don't let immigrants the fuck in to like drop wages, right? You can make a decent living doing whatever. I don't know if you remember in like the 2000s, you could rent a decent apartment for like fucking and be able to work as like a cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
In
basic
2000, I had like a really shithole apartment, but it was only $500 a month. It was like one of those
Exactly.
mixed uses over a store.
I had a fucking
And I was okay with it.
I had a row home with 5 bedrooms for $450 a month back in like fucking 2001. Right? Like this can be done. Right? It's just you have to keep the immigrants the fuck out. And I was literally working as like a forklift driver or like a fucking today it's great money, but like back in the day it didn't pay as well. Right? Or like I was working as like a fucking guy who built skate order selector. Or as like a cook, right? You know what I'm saying? Like fucking I'd be fucking doing short order line chefing and shit. You know what I mean?
It only slipped away from us relatively recently, and man, did it really take off like a rocket.
It's been the past 15.
Yeah, which it sounds like a long time, but when it comes to suddenly realizing that you can't afford fucking shit, it's quick. We expect continuity over decades, not like in 10 years from now. Just imagine you can't afford a fucking thing.
I remember in like 2000, like 13, 14, right? I was looking for an apartment, and I couldn't find nothing that. Right? Like literally the cheapest apartment I could find in the neighborhood I used to live for like $650 a month. This is like an okay neighborhood, right? This isn't like, oh, it's super upscale. This is a like okay little working class mountain neighborhood, right? The cheapest apartment I could find was like $950 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 3 years before then, like there was tons of apartments for $500 and $600.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I feel you.
Yeah, and this
It came up quick.
corresponded with like all those fucking immigrants that came in under the end of Bush and the beginning of Obama. And they were building up like all that fucking crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like down in Texas, fucking all over the place. Right? Like literally it was just Mexicans everywhere.
But didn't you also say that immigration never really changed? It was always the same constant flow, no matter what the rhetoric was.
I mean,
So maybe it has more to do with housing starts declining.
it was sort of kind of that, right? But it was also like literally like fucking they were like bringing in massive amounts of immigrants. Immigrants were eating up the housing supply that was being built, right? Because there wasn't that many people, right? Was the issue. Like remember, like we haven't been making people for like a long time. I mean, like a birth rate, like crazy one. Here's a crazy one, bro. Listen, you ever seen this stat? Fucking.
I think there's been a lot of fuckery with housing. This administration finally is coming down from high above to put a kibosh on all of the mandatory low-income housing for all the new housing starts. For all the commercial property. Well, not commercial, but the multi-unit residentials. One of my buddies is mayor of a town, and he's a Democrat, ran against a Republican, and neither of them could say they could stop it from happening. It was mandatory. They're like, this is what's being built. Here's the developer, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to have to put in X amount of low-income units. Nobody was powerful enough to stop it from happening, like entirely. It's just one had a will to negotiate it down, the other was fine with where it was at. And nobody in the town fucking wanted it. Like, this has been forced upon so many. This is like a small fucking town in the middle of nowhere. This has been major policy for a minute. You want to spread them poor people everywhere. How dare you? How dare you have a nice neighborhood? Fuck that.
Yo, listen, hold up. We got
you.
Yo, there's some. Like, yo, there is some fucking banana shit. Here it is. Here it is. All right. Right. So, like, okay. So, all right. This is the number of abortions, 1,000. Right? I mean,
my body, my choice.
All right. In 1990, there was 1.4 million abortions. Right?
Those are rookie numbers. Got to pump the numbers up.
All right. So, let's go with this story. How many kids per births per year? So, all right. So, United States. All right. So, births per year, right? This 1991, right? 4.17 million fucking people, right? I'd show you the tab. I draft. Remember, 4.17 million, okay? Okay, number of abortions performed, 1.4 million, right? That's what I want. How many pregnancies ended? Many.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the way we should structure our society is listen to these fucking people who can't fight and have like blood rage against the weakest people in our society. They should really we should give them our children to shape their minds. On some level, we probably deserve what we get for allowing this shit to happen.
All right, okay. 1 in every 4 women will have an abortion.
Yeah, because fuck them kids, right?
6 of
Cramping
10,
my style.
6 of 10 unintended pregnancies ended in.
Well, kids cramp their style, which means they can't be fucking, which unfortunately also leads to the kids. So you see how this is a problem? It just kind of downward spirals. We are so fucked.
So, okay, out of 4 million children born, right? 1.4 million in 1990 fucking ended in abortion. For 1.4 million, there was an abortion, right? So it was like something like 30% of all fucking kids were aborted in 1990.
Great.
Tell me that's not insane.
Yeah, well, something end times, something Satan. And let's put these fucking cunts in charge of everything because they know how to live. They know what's going on. They got the right idea. They know things. They should advise us and our children, and we should do what they say. Fuck all this shit. It's times like these that, when these retards say that Trump is literally Hitler, I'm like, I kind of hope that's true at this point. Fuck these people. Fuck their stupid ideas. And they need to get the fuck out of any position of authority or power. Absolutely vile human beings.
Oh, listen. All right, so all right, hold up. I'm sharing this tab with you. I can see it. 1 in every 4 women will have an abortion in their life. About 2 in every 5 pregnancies are unintended. At roughly the same share, these unintended pregnancies ended in abortion. 42% in 2011. About 1 in every 5 pregnancies are 21% in 20. These guys have it at like 1.6 million in 1990. So out of like the
Madonna era,
kids, like the 4 million kids who were born in 1.6 million, right? 1.6, another 1.6 million. So like I'm saying, there's literally like there should be plenty of housing supply.
well, that's assuming a 1-to-1 ratio of ownership. You've had investment, and now you have hedge funds buying property rolls.
I mean,
like don't forget, in 2008 and 2010, Fannie Mae was selling. They called them tape. Like they were just cutting tape. Like they'd hit print and they'd make this huge fucking scroll of just listings of abandoned titles, dirt bikes, cars, properties, mixed use, commercial, residential, just all sorts of defaults, like $1 trillion worth of defaulted fucking stuff. And they were just selling it to whoever. They were like, whatever, somebody come fucking scoop this shit up. They weren't sorting it. They weren't like, that was your job. You come with money, you give them the money, and they give you a fucking list of shit that you now own. Congratulations. And then you started to do business and parse it out. If you're only trying to cherry pick, the single family residences, good luck with that. And now we've gotten to the point where it's so sophisticated where, your 3 tightly interwoven hedge funds that have as much money as 2 countries put together own property in the U.S. So yeah, there should be this many houses, but they get to jack the rent because they control the fucking market. The fuck are you gonna do against that?
I feel
you. And the boomers don't want you in the family house. They want you, go pull yourself up by your bootstraps, bucko. And then, they'll fucking sell the house and take the money and go buy an RV and take a cruise and go fuck yourself, do it yourself.
Listen, and here's the thing, right? Like, I'm not even saying that, like, this is good or bad, right? Like, this is the thing, right? Like, I understand the need for abortion, right? Like, me and my baby's moms, we have fucking 3 kids together, right? She has 5 kids living in a fucking house. If she gets pregnant, can we afford to have another child? One of the kids is literally, like, retarded. You know what I mean? Like, he's fucking broke. Like, her body cannot produce any more children. It fucking can't. You know what I mean? Like, literally, it's just she does not have the ability to make, like, okay kids anymore. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, her body just can't handle it. So just, that is where,
who am I to judge?
Like,
I'm not a fundamental religious person, but I just happen to believe that females in general. All right, so you're making an exception But I think in general they just treat it like birth control.
Oh yeah, I agree, right? And this is kind of the problem is there is no male birth control. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there is, but no one wants to fucking do it.
There is no male birth control, and on top of that, this is another problem with our society is that we have this issue with providing reproductive care for males, right? We don't even want to have that. We don't want to have any conversation about men at all in this society.
No, it's much easier to tell them that they're defective girls from the jump.
Right? We want to have no conversation in any way whatsoever, period, about anything affecting a man in this country. Because, men fucking have all the power. Listen, there's almost all the homeless guys are fucking, fucking dudes. Almost all the homeless people in the country are fucking men. Right? All the fucking, really, really impoverished motherfuckers, all the motherfuckers in jail, all the people who are, fucked, right, are men. Right? And we need to be able to go hey, listen, these motherfuckers need some fucking help. You know what I mean? Instead, it's oh, well, the patriarchy nonsense. It's fucking this dumb fucking ideology, right? Where it's oh, well, women in their reproductive health. I'm oh, somebody needs to go, what about men in their reproductive health? Are we paying for, anything for men at all? There's only one thing they can have a vasectomy. That is it. And we refuse to fucking have that conversation at all. Right? Nobody will even, barter for it. Which should be done. A congressman should stand up and go, listen, we're paying for women's birth control and all this shit. Can we pay for vasectomies for dudes? I'm not passing this without vasectomies for dudes for free. Y'all get free birth control, they get free vasectomies. You know what I'm saying? They get a fucking voucher for fucking $3,000 to get that shit done. And if they have so many kids. And I feel these are things that would fix some of this nonsense, right? I mean, it would make things 100% worse. You know what I mean? But
what if instead of sending money to places like, I don't know, Ukraine, right? We gave families, if you found out that you're having a kid, you go to your local government and they're like, oh, cool. Well, we have a federal budget since we stopped sending all this money to trans people in fucking Guam, right? Here's $5,000 towards your kid for baby shit. And here's a $10,000 voucher for a down payment on a house. Congratulations. I don't know, something like that. Some kind of incentive program.
I mean, it has to be more.
And then tell the woman that if she wants to divorce the guy for cash and prizes,
has
she
to be
can.
has to be $250,000
Per kid?
I mean, no, for starting.
I think we
off.
need to
for starting.
I can't
off.
afford that.
For starting off.
$250?
How much is a house on average?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I said it has to be $250. Right? Listen, it's not about oh, you know what I mean, fucking motherfuckers being greedy, right? It just literally
listen.
What up?
My old ass is going knocking bitches up. If I'm getting $250 a head right now, I'm getting busy.
I mean, you have to marry the shit, right? You have to marry the chick. All right.
That's
Fucking
fine.
average
I'll go
cost
to
of a
Utah and get
house
some
right now
polygamy going.
is $357,138.
I think it's more important to address the base of that issue.
Well, listen, I agree. But again, this is why I said $250.
Yeah, next time on things that'll never fucking happen.
Oh, I feel you. But listen, we're gonna have that conversation. You go, oh, give him $10,000. That's not enough.
Okay. Now, this is why that English guy, the coke dealer, is right. This is why you tax the rich.
I mean,
because where's that money going to come from? They're the ones who have the surplus. They're the ones who are buying all those multiple properties through their investments in these giant fucking holding tanks that make decisions like, well, let's just send a care package. Let's send a basket of fucking cookies to, I don't know, Mr. Biden and have him fucking, sprinkle his holy water on our wish list of buying all the goddamn residential property. This is how shit works. If you don't take their money, they just run away with fucking these ideas.
Right.
So in a way, it is a little bit socialist, but
Have you seen
I
these
mean-
motherfuckers? Oh, I showed you this, right?
Oh, the tiny house. Yeah, tiny house is making a comeback, and this is where I'm saying be skeptical of everything you see on the news because this has been bandied about with like upbeat music and trendy looking fucking influencers, like as if you're supposed to do this and supposed to want this. Fuck you! I don't want a goddamn tiny house. Make a real house affordable, cunts.
Listen, no. Look. Okay, I have no problem with like starter home, right? Today I was up. I took my kids up to my family's land up in the mountains, right? And when I took my kids up to my family's land in the mountains, like this is the place where I was born, right? This is where like I was literally made and raised, and like fucking like for the first 5-6 years of my life I lived, right? You know, like this is like I was potty trained in the outhouse that I use today. You know what I mean? Like fucking like this is where I was like made. And back in the day, what happened is like my pops got a little piece of land. You know what I'm saying? For I don't know, it was like 2 acres or some shit he got on a handshake deal with the fucking local guy, right, from a local farmer. He went and he bought like a camper, and then he upgraded like a trailer. Right, and like fucking, then he like went and bought a house when I was like 6, and he moved to like the fucking to the city, right? You know what I mean? And then like everything fell apart, and I moved to the homeless shelter. But you know what I mean? Like fucking, the thing is you have to have like these smaller places where you can start off. You know what I mean? Because like if you're 25 having kids, or 20, or 22, or 23, whatever it is, you can't afford a fucking real house, and you're not supposed to be able to afford a real house. You know what I mean? Like, and you need to be able to have options. Like. Listen,
but that's not how this shit's going. This is going to be like, this is just another half step to you will have nothing and be happy.
No, like I'm fine with this, right? Like, or like just how do I put this? Like when you go to buy a piece of land, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you go to fucking like land.com, right? I don't know if you ever did it. I love land. One of the cool, right? I'm gonna look in the fucking county I want to live in. Right, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna go. Okay. Price. We're gonna do fucking. Right. Okay. So every time you see these little things, right, where it fucking says, you know what I mean, fucking, this is 1.38 acres on 0 Klein Hollow Road, Lot 1. Right. This is a land development. So if you try to go here to buy a fucking home, right, they're gonna tell you there's a certain amount of fucking square footage that you have to have. Right. Looks big. Fucking only 960 square bedroom. Right, listen, I have to look at it. It's just like this shit here. You're a Juniata fucking furnace lane. Right. Again, like they're gonna tell you you have to have a certain square footage built here. Right. So that means you can't just take it and then put a fucking trailer on it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of Karens involved in development.
Well, it's not that, yo. It's
They've
not
got
that,
a,
yo. It's not that. It's that,
they've
like,
got
our system that we have is based on property tax, right? You know what I mean? So, like, if they can't tax you because your home isn't valuable enough, they don't want you living there.
No, I get it. That's some Karen shit. How am I wrong?
And by the way, 1.4 acre, 60 grand. Like some of these places are
Yeah, they're better.
in the middle of bumfuck Egypt.
Yeah, 60 grand for property in the middle of nowhere is exorbitant. There better be gold in the hills.
$50,000. This is 0.3 acres. Okay, third of an acre.
God damn, that's expensive.
Right. This is 45 fucking minutes from any place that has a job. Duncannon's a little closer. Duncannon's about like 20 minutes from the fucking city, right? 2 acres, 100 grand.
I still think it's crazy overpriced, but what do I know?
It is crazy over.
Shouldn't be that expensive. It should not be this expensive.
Listen, I agree, buddy. I 100% agree with you, right? I mean, like, I 1,000,000% fucking agree with you, right? Move this, fucking. I'm gonna go like. Oh, sorry, here it is. Price low to high. Okay. So, these are fees. Like, yeah, fucking auctions. 59, same 60, 69 grand, 0.6 acre. Wayne, fucking middle of goddamn bumfuck Egypt. I promise you, can't actually live, right? Labin Codge, outhouse, woodshed, great hunting camp, all plenty of space to park your RV among mature shade trees, all within walking distance. Upgrades, yeah, like you literally can't live here, right? It's considered mountain ground. You're not allowed to like actually live in the fucking place. Right? 89 grand, 2 acres, 95,000, 2 acres, 1,099, 115 grand for 4 acres, right? Yeah. Yeah, fucking, this property holds great potential for building subject to municipal.
Yeah, well, we got to do something about property prices.
I agree. Right? At this moment. Bro, listen, I'm about to like. About to fix her upper. That old ass stove, bro.
That is a strip it down and redo it.
Not wrong. I promise you.
I would take that shit to studs.
Oh, yeah, this is going to cost you like fucking 30, 40 grand just to get up to snuff for cook.
Yeah, that shit has to be basically torn the fuck down.
The furnace is.
That's a do-over.
The furnace looks good. Bones don't look terrible. In here looking at these fucking joists. Oh, this is old pine wood.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
like
I'm saying I would redo all the walls.
This is all German fucking built block. Fucking that brickwork looks terrible there by that fucking window. Right.
Yeah. Do you see the wetness under the window?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it looks terrible under the window there.
Look down low. Look at the graying on the right there.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah. Right. Pressure tank. Look, got a little fucking fire down there. I mean, none of it looks bowed though, as far as the joists are. Usually that's what you see.
Oh, it's going for this clunker. Oh, Jesus. That is a hoarder. That is a hoarder house.
145 grand.
Yeah, I mean, it's about right.
I mean, you're gonna fucking be 200 by the time you're done fucking hooking. And this is German's Day. Right, so
Need more than that. You need more than 30 grand. It's probably 30 just the materials alone.
all right, so like all the jobs that you're gonna be able to do are right here between Harrisburg and Carlisle, right? Where the jobs are. See where that fucking star is? And there ain't no highway, son. You are running. You know what I mean? That's an hour and a half trek every day. Get to work.
Take the company helicopter.
And yes, listen, yeah, 100%. You got money for that company helicopter.
I like being out of the city. I used to go for that, convenience of the city mindset bullshit.
Yeah, it's just about
Then
going.
one day I realized that that's some female shit. It ain't true at all.
Yeah, listen, it's not about that. It's about getting to work, right? So you have to think of it like this. Now that you live in like
I'll take the hour trip.
Now that you live in the fucking Carolinas, all right. I'm assuming like you're towards the fucking western part of Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I still drive an hour to work, except it's
how well
60
does the
miles
car
instead of
do
20.
going over those fucking mountains and hills getting to work?
Yeah, the highway's not very.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? So this here, you're literally going to be like just running hills and mountains every fucking day, right? And so that means every fucking 4 or 5 years, you're gonna be putting a transmission in your fucking car. The brake's gonna be blown out every fucking 6 months, right? You're gonna be putting fucking tires on that bitch at least once a fucking year, right? And you're gonna probably fucking end up, you know what I mean, like having to like do something to get you like something that's like fucking reliable. So that means you're gonna have to fucking buy like a $30,000 automobile to get you to and from fucking work. You can't run a beater doing this type of job, or living in a place like this. Like, you just fucking can't. It used to be possible, right? I used to live, all right, so my son used to play football by this place, right? And I lived over closer to the river. In a football season, I killed 3 fucking cars, getting them to and from practice.
Goddamn.
It just is what it is. Like, those fucking mountains and those hills running them back roads, because there's no fucking highways, right? They murder your fucking car. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Just knock on wood, my car lasts until I die.
You
That
can
would be
knock
nice.
on wood all you want to. Like, it is what it is. But yo, listen, I'm about to like cut the fuck up out of here because I gotta go take shit. So I'm gonna holla at you tomorrow or something. All right, I'll be back on while I'm working. All right?
Word. Peace, homie.